is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
How good is that?
Welcome to the podcast, guys. Lucky to be here is the call. We spoke about near-death experiences the other day, Ryan James. I don't know what's going on in my world, but someone's had a crack at me. It happened while I was walking yesterday.
Apologies about that as well, because I rolled that boulder down from the top of the hill, not knowing that you were on your way.
No. It was a car that attempted to clean me up. And look, if you have organised a hitman, just make sure you get you pay them 50% up front, 50% after. Don't give them all the cash up front. Because they missed me, mate. They missed me, but it was a close call. Yeah. You'll hear more about it on the podcast.
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Let's talk about this guy, because border security shows, I love them. Because you get to play the game of guilty or not. And you kind of judge the person's reaction whose luggage they're going through. And if they start yelling, you go, I know you've got something in the lining of your suitcase. Guilty.
Well, do you know what? And I'm picking this certain, but I love the elderly Asian ladies who come back home and they only want to cook magnificent meals for their family.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't bring the ingredients back, but they'll try.
I love it. They'll open the bag and there's 6 ducks in there. There you go. Hang on a minute. And she says, they're just spices. Just spices. Yes, but there's 6 ducks in your bag.
And they play the role of, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just cooking this for the family.
Oh, how
Let
good
him
is that?
go.
What about the guy who just wants to be cool, so he knows he's got drugs on him? Yeah, you can have a look, mate. Absolutely. Rip it to pieces if you want. And he's just starting to sweat.
The beads of sweat are just coming from his brow.
And then
he's gone.
Come in. If you could just come with us, sir, into the other room, that'd be great. Oh, yeah. I'll get there before you do. That's how keen I am to prove that I'm innocent.
Or the young party guys who know they don't have anything in the bag, but then when the customs official goes, we're just going to swipe everything. We're going to swipe your shorts. And then you realise, oh, geez, I had a big night in these shorts at the weekend.
He's taken off his own pants and thrown them in the bin. Yeah, swipe anything, just not those. Yeah, that's cool. This guy, and I'm going to play you the news story because even they saw the funny side of this, and this is why you can't trust a bald man. This guy's been busted. He's got 220 grams of cocaine in a handmade toupee, which is like a wig, and the cocaine is sitting under the wig. So
I love a good wig.
And this is why I'm starting to get concerned, because you've got 6 wigs in the office, and I don't know if you're now Australia's biggest smuggler. Have a listen to this story.
How much did your last haircut cost you? Well, for this man in Colombia, it'll probably mean several years behind bars. No, that's not a bad case of dandruff. It's 19 capsules filled with cocaine, nestled under the smuggler's toupee, charged with trafficking, manufacturing and possessing narcotics. A bad hair day, he'll have plenty of time to brush off.
Very good.
Wouldn't have it looked too high? Like the hairpiece.
It was like an elevated wig that was just sitting up off his head. Wow, man, where'd you get that done? Yeah? Hair transplant? Nah, smuggler. Yeah, I said to him, I don't want it sitting so high on my head. But I said, look, I'm sick of wearing a hat. If I could have a hairdo that looked like I had a bit of a hat on, that'd be great.
You can imagine the cartel, and he's just looking in the mirror going, guys, it's not going to work. Look how high it's sitting. And they're going, Dave, you're doing it.
Yeah, Dave.
You're doing it. We'll pack it down even more. I'll put more tape on it if you want, but you are still going to Australia with all the cocaine.
And all the other guys going, it looks fine, doesn't it, guys? Oh, yeah, you can't even notice it. You can. I actually thought when I walked in, that was your real hair.
No, actually, the part's on the wrong side. I'd go the part on the left side. That looks better.
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Now, our worlds collided yesterday. The 3 of us together came together in one really scary moment that I had yesterday. So, here's how I'm going to set it up.
I'm intrigued.
Yesterday on the show, Fitzy, you and I were talking about near-death experiences. Yep. So that was the hot topic that was on my mind. Last week, Swanee, you and I were talking about Lee Sales' book, Any Ordinary Day.
Yes.
Because the idea of that book is talking about, and I think we got onto the conversation because when you hear about a tragedy and somebody dies suddenly, you don't know on that day when you wake up that it's your last day on Earth.
Exactly.
And that's a scary thing to think about, but you can't live your life like you're going to die that day. Or some people say you can.
You can, but it's, I imagine it would be very anxiety-inducing.
I'm not going outside today. No, I'm not going.
It's a pretty stressful life.
It is a pretty stressful life. So we were talking about how great that book is. So what did I do? I bought the audio book because I can't read. So yesterday, I thought I'm going to kick off Lee Sales any ordinary day, and I go for my walk.
Can I just stop down for a minute?
Please.
When you say you can't read, is that because you fall asleep?
No, I'm just not a great reader. When I look at a page and all the words are there, they kind of blend into one, and I go, oh my God, someone has thrown a whole lot of letters at a page, and I've got to try and work them out.
That's great.
So, I'm not a great reader, and I don't mind listening to a story when I'm going for a walk.
Yeah.
So I'm powering up Heartbreak Hill at a cracking pace.
Is it Lee's voice? Has Lee recorded it?
Yeah, yes, it is her voice. So,
oh my God, I love her. She's one of my queens.
Isn't she? And just so smart and so clever and so beautiful. So I'm listening to this book and I'm thinking about the premise of the idea that you don't know that you're going to die that day when you wake up.
Yeah.
I press the button to cross the road and I wait patiently. I start walking across the road and then a bus pulls up in it's the right-hand lane of the two lanes going up the hill, if that helps paint the picture.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to the book. I'm walking across the road. I step out to walk past the bus. So my first step past the bus, and a car has decided to come up on that left-hand lane and run the red light.
That's it.
That is there
Sneaky.
While I'm crossing the road. So I quickly jump back as this car tries to brake, realises that I'm out of the way, and then speeds through the red light. And I've got Lee's voice in my ear saying, you don't know when you're going to die. And you're right, because I nearly bloody did. So the bus driver... I get to the other side and I go, whoa, because I threw my hands up and yelled at the guy who ran the red light. He didn't care. He was gone. The bus driver opens his door after seeing this and says, oh, mate, I've got that on camera if you need it, if you want it.
Gotcha.
Wow.
And I said, no, look, it's okay because I'm okay. Don't worry about it. And he said, all right. Oh, you'll like this bit. He goes, all right, well, you better get back on the radio then. And I went, oh, good on you, mate. And he said, well, Fitzy would have liked that.
That's great.
Don't bring Fitzy up in a near-death moment, please.
Oh, no, you must, because the person behind the wheel was, in fact, Fitzy.
Fitzy, yeah.
Trying to take you out.
I was only doing 60 k's an hour. Second of all, disappointed I missed you.
Unbelievable moment of chance and coincidence. One that I survived.
I'm so relieved that you did. I would miss you so much.
Would you?
Yes.
All right, let's go around the room. Out of 10, Chrissie, you're a 10. You'd miss me so much. Tommy, where are you at?
Yeah, solid 5 there, Whip, absolutely.
Jess, what about you? Where would you be on
just
it?
behind Tommy on a 4.
Ryan James, you there, mate? Is your mic on?
Well, I'll round it out with a 2.
we started so well. I'm going to lock in
Michael.
I'm going to lock in the 10 from Chrissie.
Nobody likes you.
Not today.
I'm just going to go for a quick vape on the balcony. Do you want to come with me, Whip?
You there, mate?
The Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Drake has officially left the country.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team left.
Now his whole team's left. They're in Canada. So, do you know what? I'm off Drake because I felt like he used us. He used Australia to get away from everything that was going on with Kendrick at the Super Bowl and at the Oscars. And you know what? He used us. He used our ladies to get to parties.
Do you know what you're saying? We were his side piece. He'd had a breakup and he needed someone to entertain him before he moves on to something more significant. And I'm with you, Fitz. I feel used. I'm more than just a piece of meat. We're more than just a country.
Well, the worst thing about it, he still had gigs up his sleeve. So he was due to perform in Brisbane at the Entertainment Centre on March 4. He's supposed to be coming back to Sydney. He had one more Kudos Bank Arena show, and then he had 2 gigs in Auckland in New Zealand on March 15 and 16. So Live Nation are saying, we're trying to get him to reschedule. They're not refunding the tickets. They're saying, we'll try to get him back. But he played in Brisbane, Ryan. He went out till 4 in the morning, got back to his room in Brisbane, and then decided to fly to Fiji on his private jet at 6:40. So 2.5 hours later, he jumped on his private jet with his mates and said, I'm going back to Canada. I'm done.
So he went back to Canada or Fiji?
No, he went to Fiji first, then he went to Hawaii. So he went through customs in Hawaii, and now he's back in Toronto.
Imagine being in a position where you go, you know what, guys? I want to wake up in Fiji. Get to the jet.
Why did he go to... No, but he didn't hang around in Fiji.
No, he missed out there.
I'm just over it. But do you know what? This is a funny one. Do you know Drake's supermarkets? That's everywhere. They're all around Australia, actually. There's quite a few here in Sydney.
Drake's supermarkets?
Drake's supermarkets. There's one just off Pitt Street Mall in the city there, Drake's.
Oh, right, okay.
It's like an upmarket supermarket. They've got some really good stuff in there, in Drake's. They've actually changed their name to Kendrick's. This is on social media, but there is a photo of them.
Just to rub it in.
They've changed the name to Kendrick's because Drake's left.
We did a segment a while ago on the show called I Just Don't Get It, and Drake was at the top of my list. And then I'm looking at footage last night, and it's him on stage, and it said this is why he left the country. It's him on stage singing, and it gets to the part where he yells out the line, and then he puts his microphone out to the crowd to yell out the next line. And it's silent. Nobody yells.
I think he had some bad experiences at some of the gigs here. 13, 24, 10. Look, what did you think of Drake when you went and saw him live? I mean, he sold out 5, 6 Kudos Bank arenas. So, I mean, he's still popular.
Jeez,
but I felt... He spent so much time in Australia that I think he got to the point with, okay, the whole Kendrick thing is blown over now. I've had enough of Australia. I'm as far away as from America as I can get. Now it's time to go home. Boys, jump in the private jet. We're going to Fiji, Hawaii, and then we're going back to Toronto.
Hey, who wants a quick snorkel? You into it, guys? Fiji, Captain?
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Let's talk about this because this couple have gone on their dream holiday, and that is so beautiful. They took off to Hawaii, fantastic. When they got back, though, because they're quite fancy, they valeted. I don't know if anybody does a valet service with their car. They had a meet and greet valet service. So you pull up at the door and somebody comes out in a nice suit with a pair of white gloves on, and they take your car. And the car they took was a $200,000 BMW M5. Now, that's a great car. That's known as the four-door Ferrari. And what I love about this is anybody that drops their car off in valet expects their car to almost be taken to a place downstairs which has some level of air conditioning. There's a blanket that's wrapped around it. It's fed a nice little bottle and a nappy is popped on the back. And then someone pats the bonnet as the car falls to sleep each night. It feels like that's what goes on with a meet and greet service at the valet. Yeah. They got back from Hawaii and said, right, we've landed, where's the car? They stood there. 45 minutes later, the taxi arrived up the top. And the man with the suit and the white gloves got out of the taxi to open the door. He'd driven up from the taxi rank, and he said, look, this taxi can get you home safely. The reason your car, your $200,000 BMW is not here right now is because we don't want you to see it. There's been an accident.
Look out.
They've since got the photos. They said another car accidentally hit your car. It had a dent in the bonnet, it had a dent in the side, and the front left-hand corner was crushed in. So I would suggest the minute wheels were up on that aeroplane, I don't know, the work experience kid thought this will be fun to take around the block, and bang, they were out.
You're rolling the dice when you go to valet because, let's be honest, the young kids that actually take your car and go and park it, I think they have every right to give it a bit of juice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can
Yeah,
accelerate.
you're right.
They can see how good the turning is in that brand new car. The thing is, though, there will be accidents at some stage. I used to sneak into the car park at the airport.
Did you?
At the Sydney Airport.
What, valet?
There's a huge building. It's sort of near the Qantas valet, just back a little bit, but you can get in there. I used to wait because a lot of the flight attendants used to park in there as well, and they used to have valet in there as well. So I'd wait for a flight attendant to rock up with their pass, and then I'd just go up their bum and go into the car park.
Follow into the car park?
Yeah.
Criminal.
Yeah. I mean, you're saving a fair bit of money.
I told you the story last year. Late last year, Lisa and I decided to have a night away at a hotel in the city. We dropped the car in valet, right? Because this was
to the hotel.
The hotel. This was a gift that was given to us, so we thought, let's really splurge here. So drop the car at valet, pick the car up. I get home, and because I love the car, Lisa constantly makes jokes. Oh my God, when did you rim your wheel? And then I go up and it's not rimmed. She goes, when did you smash your left-hand corner? That's funny. And she said, no, have a look at the left-hand corner of your car.
Oh,
So I rang the hotel and I said, why don't you check the footage of the state of that left-hand corner of the car, the front? Why don't you check the footage when I arrived and then when it got returned to me 24 hours later? I said, I'm
Were
so
they
sorry.
accommodating?
Our insurance company will be in touch. So I just had the insurance approved.
Yeah.
$10,000 worth of damage.
$10,000.
Yes.
And so they're paying that. Do you have to pay any excess at
No,
all?
I don't think I do because it's all on the hotel. But the other thing was I was telling my neighbour about it and he said, oh, yeah, I've been in hotels for a long time. He said, I'll never forget when we were young, we were about 23 or so and we were working in valet and we would literally pick the best car to take around the block. And unfortunately, my mate stuck a Ferrari through a shop window like 500 metres down the street. And then we just had to say, I'm so sorry, we needed to move some cars around because it was so full. And unfortunately, we lost control. But they would just take it joyriding, cutting manies throughout Sydney, thanks to the valet service.
If you were the valet and you had an array of amazing cars there, could you offload to a mate if he's going on a date? You've got 1 hour. You've got 1 hour. You've got 1 hour to take that Mercedes. You've got to be back before they get back from dinner. It's not a bad idea.
Imagine that. I didn't know you drove a Bentley. Well, I do, but I've got to go really soon.
Mickey O'Loughlin used to do it at the Sydney Swans. When we first got drafted and we were young, we were sponsored by Ford, and Mick would have a brand new Ford Territory, and he'd get one every 3 months. Wow. And Mick always said to the young guys, if you really want to impress a girl on a date, just give me a call and you can borrow the Ford Territory, the brand new Ford Territory. The worst thing was he'd always give it to you on the first date. So if the first date went well, then you'd have to pick up the girl in your real car on the second date. And it was all over.
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast. Chrissie's Clickbait.
I mean, I've got stories about the naughtiest man alive, Drake, and also Will Smith. But first, I just want to ask you, do you have a favourite lyric from Lola Young's Messy?
Because I'm so perfect.
No, you can't have the chorus.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, God,
no, I don't. Give me yours.
You obviously have, but it's an amazing song.
It's so good, and it reminds me of my mum in the 80s just hating on me because I was lazy.
Do you like the dance remixes that are going around at the moment, Chrissie? There's quite a few dance remixes. You cannot touch this song. You got to leave it.
I agree, and I get suspicious whenever Tiesto is involved.
Tiesto. Hey, who's that?
I feel like, does it really need the Tiesto treatment? Does it? But my favourite line is, and you don't even say hello because I got high again and forgot to fold my clothes. That was me every day, 1988. And
is that in your diary that you're going to read from?
It sure is.
I can't wait to hear that.
Let's move on to Drake. I mean, he has done what I think secretly we have all wanted to do at some stage in our working careers, where you've just gone, nah, I'm gone. See ya.
Pull the pin. See you later.
Yeah. But we don't, because we're very, very good people. He still has 4 dates to go. He's still got all of New Zealand to do, Auckland.
So he hasn't had any NZ?
I'm over it.
No. And he's got a Sydney date booked for March 7.
Right.
And another one in Brisbane. And he's just gone, actually, nah, I'm done.
Well, we were talking about this
Swanee,
earlier too, Swanee. Fitz, you said that he got home at 4 a.m. And
He
then-
got home at 4 a.m. and then jumped onto his private jet at 6:40, 2.5 hours later, Chrissie, and said, I'm going back to Canada. The thing that I feel like he's used us here in Australia, though, because, you know what, he came over here to get away from the Super Bowl and the the Grammys, because he knew Kendrick was going to dominate. And he said, what's the country that is the furthest away that I can get from Canada? And he's picked Australia. He's used us, and now he's over us, and now people miss out on seeing him live.
I think you're right.
Do you know in a relationship, Swanee, where there's just that, you feel like that bit on the side because they're not over a previous relationship and you're just a convenience. And I feel like we've been used like a piece of meat for his convenience, and I'm disgusted.
We were saying, Swanee, before we were saying that there's a franchise of supermarkets around Australia called Drake's Supermarkets. They've actually changed their name to Kendrick's on social media.
That is very smart. I love a little idea like that, don't you?
Good. It's good gear. It's
I
really
want to
great
talk about
idea.
Will Smith.
What's he done?
Thoughts and prayers. For many, many reasons, but mainly because he still has to live with Jada Pinkett Smith, who is insufferable. Has anybody watched or seen or listened to that insufferable podcast, The Red Table? I would like $1 for every time she goes, I felt that.
Oh, no.
I felt that.
When you don't know what to say I felt
Does
that.
she do it with Willow, her daughter? She does it with her daughter, doesn't she?
And I believe her mother's involved as well. And I'm sorry.
Right.
I mean, it's enough for me to sit at my own kitchen table with my own mother and my own daughter. I don't want to do it with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Who was the one that was in, because I get them so confused, who was the one that was in Karate Kid, the remake? Is that
Scott Baio. Ralph Macchio.
No.
Sorry.
Who is that?
I'm still in 1988.
Jaden Smith. Right, so
Yes,
there's a Jaden
Jaden.
Smith.
Yes.
He is awesome and can do a very good Danielson.
And so
No,
is
he's
Willow. Willow's
not.
awesome too.
Mate, have you not seen the new Karate Kid?
Dude, don't even... there's no comparison to the original at all.
It's
and
a
don't
good
even
film.
bring it up.
It's a good film. Sweep the leg. Sorry, Swanee.
I want to talk about Will Smith for a second because he did appear at an award show in Miami called Premio Lo Nuestro.
I love how you say that.
Thank you. When you don't know anything, just put on the accent and people think that you're really amazing.
I
Is
feel
my
that.
thing.
I feel that.
You felt that, did you?
felt
Yeah,
that.
I felt that. Anyway, people said this is the most damning line I've ever heard. A, someone said he's in his Elvis era. And 2, when he was on stage, someone commented he looks like a dad on the karaoke with a drunk local woman, which is exactly the feedback in the school newsletter last time I was at a fundraiser in 2017.
I saw this footage and he looked very, very cozy with the local school, or the local girl that he was
he kissed
singing
her
with.
he kissed her on the mouth.
Ow. Okay.
Ow. Okay.
Are they even together, Jada? It's an open relationship, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
think
an open
it's
relationship.
convenient for Jada so that she can just do whatever she wants. I felt that. I've got a little tidbit for you because you know that my brain is full of useless information. You know, we did enjoy the Men in Black theme,
Yep.
which sounds like this.
Was big. Was very big.
I bore my kids senseless with stuff like this.
Yeah.
Did you know that is obviously a sample from the great Forget-Me-Nots by Patrice Rushen?
Oh,
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
actually sounds better.
They always do the samples, but I'm old and, you know, and a music nerd. So there you
Man, I
go.
love
There's
that.
your, put that in your back pocket. I felt that.
I'm going to tell everyone today. I definitely felt that.
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Bang, we're on.
All right, it's time for
60-second starts.
I'm Still Standing.
Now.
Sydney
Water. Filter, treat and test your water at every stage to ensure your drinking water is Sydney's finest drop.
Chris from Schofields, you're up this morning up against Chrissie Swan. Actually, Chris, you've got a story about a wedding that you went to, and there was a bit of history between either the bride and groom and somebody else. Who was it, Chris?
Yeah, so it wasn't necessarily a wedding that I actually went to, but I've just come back from a business trip. And as you do when you're with a group of guys, you get into storytelling.
Yeah.
And someone told a story about someone being sick at a wedding. And the reason that we told this story throughout the night, we realised there was one person in the group that had better stories than anyone. But you just had to prompt him to get the right story out. So we tell a story about being sick at a wedding, and he immediately says, I've got a story about being sick. And he said when he was 20 years old, and a very successful person as well, he went on a night out, it was his birthday, and he met a girl with the same birthday, and he said it's the first time he had ever met anyone with the same birthday, so they automatically started kissing. And then we all guessed, oh my goodness, you've been sick in her mouth. And he's like, yeah, but that's not the end of the story. He was sick in her mouth. They then went home together. And about 2.5 years later, they were sitting at a family dinner, and his brother comes in and says, hey, you'll never guess, my new girlfriend's got the same birthday as you. And he immediately said, oh my goodness, there's only one person in my life I've met with the same birthday. And his brother proceeds to bring his new girlfriend in, which is the person that he was sick in her mouth and slept with. And then he said, but the story doesn't end there. They're now married with kids, and his brother has never known that his sister-in-law is the same girl. I haven't laughed so hard in my entire life.
Oh, Chris, and you've told that beautifully.
Unbelievable. And we are out of time. That's $100 for you from Sydney Water.
I mean, to close the deal after vomiting in someone's mouth is extraordinary in itself.
That's what we thought. And then it got progressively better or worse, whatever way you want to look at it.
Better.
But every time you run into each other at a family function, you're going to look at each other and going, that's amazing. Chris, great story. All right, Chris, we want to give you $100. You're up against Chrissie. You're going first. If you get one wrong, power goes over to her. Whoever has the power at the end of 60 seconds is the winner. This is all thanks to Sydney Water. Chris, here we go. Your 60 seconds starts now. What is the shortest month of the year, Chris?
February.
Correct. Who is the editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine?
No idea.
It's Anna Wintour. Over to Chrissie. Chrissie, who is Julia Roberts' famous niece?
Emma Roberts.
Ooh, Emma Roberts is correct. Is Timothy Chalamet in his 30s or 20s?
30s.
No, he's 29.
Oh, no.
Back to Chris. Simone Biles is an Olympic athlete for the USA in what sport, Chris? Simone Biles.
Gymnastics.
That is correct. Monjaro and Ozempic are what type of drug?
Painkiller.
No, they're not. They're weight loss. Over to Chrissie. Chrissie, Ashton Irwin is part of what famous boy band?
Oh, Five Sauce.
Yeah, correct. What herb is used to make tabbouleh?
Parsley and mint.
That is correct. How would
she's
you
got
say...
it.
Oh,
She's got it.
I mean, I was sort of hoping that I would win this because we get to speak to Chris again because he's got to come back and play for the double money.
Under the rule of Chrissie Swan, it means you're back tomorrow, Chris, to have another shot at the money.
Awesome.
And you need a story just as good as that one for this time tomorrow, buddy.
I'll make sure I give him a call later and I'll get another one.
Oh, you're a superstar. Well done, buddy.
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Can we move on to this one? Because everybody has been told to come back to work. We know that 5 days a week, working from home doesn't work. So a lot of the organisations have said, get back in here and get serious about it. Anyway, what I like about this guy, and I want to tilt my hat to Alex Portnov. He's at Rain and Horn in Maroubra here in Sydney, and he likes to fire the team up with a bit of David Guetta around 8 a.m. He said that he's come out and said that property management work can be hard. You get a lot of negative moments throughout the day, so we prepare as a team in the office. Now, what I love about this too, he looks about 55 or so, and the rest of the staff are maybe 20 to 30, possibly 40 years younger than him. But he's the one that leads the 8 a.m. dance party, where he says there's one way to fire up, and that's with a bit of David Guetta. Here's some audio from the Rain and Horn office at 8 a.m. Yeah.
Oh, no. No.
Yep.
He's the only one clapping, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Come on, energy! Up!
Oh.
Let's go!
Mate, he's boss, he's dance instructor, he's footy coach. He's also dressed in black. He looks like a priest.
And the fact that those people are looking down the barrel of a day of appointments, you know, as property managers, investigating illegal ferrets, such pressing issues as someone is taking my bin. Oh, God.
I know.
Can I give you another one? Jess, can you just put into the system lawyer David Brent? So there's a guy in the States, and with his legal firm every Friday, he gets in front of the computer, because a lot of them do work from home. He gets everyone on Zoom and he fires everyone up with this David Brent moment every Friday.
Everybody, let's get into it. Good morning, everybody. Yes, it is. It is the week before the week. Let's get it started in here. It is the week before the week. The week before we launch the whole new software platform we're all ready for.
Okay, I've got something, guys. I'm with you tomorrow, and I couldn't be more excited. At 8 o'clock every Friday for the time that we're together, I'm going to bring in a pump-up song.
Okay. It's not. Hang on. It's not JoJo Kincaid, is it?
Oh,
Jess, have we got that in the system? This
What's
was
JoJo Kincaid?
Oh, you haven't heard JoJo?
No.
So on a Friday, JoJo was a guy out of San Fran, Tommy, was him?
Florida.
Florida.
I think,
he's a radio guy.
San Diego or something.
He's a jock. San Diego.
Chrissie,
San Diego 4K444.
Yeah. And he pumps up the city for your drive home. Have a listen to this.
You don't have to tell me what day it is. It's Friday. My attitude is showing.
No, that's not it.
Let's get cooking.
I mean, well, let's get it cooking is his famous line. He just fires up the city like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, with a pump-up song or just with that screaming mess of noise?
Screaming, and we'll do a lot of it's Friday and my attitude is showing.
Okay, great. I'm not going to be able to concentrate.
I just want to hear
Music marathon with money in the music. Friday, my attitude is showing. JoJo cooking here on Q 106. San Diego, Q. You don't have to tell me what day it is. It's Friday. Friday. Party time. Weekend. Beginning. Now it's 5 o'clock if you're ready to do it. Quitting time. KKLQ, AM and FM, San Diego. If you're ready, let's get cooking.
Oh my God, I could crack through a brick wall.
How good is that?
Oh my God.
Oh, this time tomorrow, let's get cooking, Tom.
I'm not going to be able to concentrate on anything apart from what song we're going to crash through the Friday wall together with.
Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.